Members of the jury, look, I know I'm not supposed to talk to you before this case, but I need you to know that I am not a murderer. This is all just some sort of crazy mix-up. I was just on my way from New York to Miami when I stopped in this little town, Berserksville. Big mistake. Apparently there's a murder on the loose of the same kind of pickup as me, and now I'm the prime suspect. I'm so nervous. I haven't even met my lawyer. Uh, you're not my lawyer, are you?
Oh, Tracy.
Casey.
Right. I'm Mr. Flops. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I just... Sorry.
You seem pretty disorganized.
Well, sometimes I just... because
Look, all I care about is if we're going to win.
Right. I have full confidence in this case. You have a solid alibi. There's no way we'll lose. Just as long as there's not...
Who's Miss Scammerton?
Oh no. Oh no. This is horrible. This is...
Why? Who is she?
She's the best prosecution attorney in the whole state. She's never lost a case.
She's really that good?
The best.
Well, I mean, I am innocent, so it shouldn't be that hard to prove, right?
Well, you see, Miss Scammerton, well, she doesn't really play by the rules. She's a little,
Who's ready to win the case today? Because I had a bowl of Victorios with a tall glass of self-esteem, and I am ready to fight. It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rival.
And who are you?
Me? I'm a winner. I'm an unstoppable force. I am...
Scammerton.
In the flesh, and you must be the defendant.
Yeah, look, I just wanted to tell you that...
Fight! Here's a tip for you, kid. Trust no one.
Not even my lawyer?
You really want to trust that?
hey, I may not be the...
Look, I just wanted to tell you that I'm really am innocent. They grabbed the wrong person, and I...
Look, that all sounds like a personal problem to me. I don't care whether you're innocent or guilty. All I care about is winning. I've never lost a case, and I do not plan on starting today.
You would really send an innocent person to prison just for the sake of winning?
Yeah.
How could you?
Look, you really shouldn't fear failure. It's silly for you to fear the inevitable.
I can't believe you. You're a part of the justice system. You're supposed to care about truth and liberty and...
Yeah. You better get ready, because by the looks of your team, you're going to need it.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Falter.
Thank you. You may now be seated. Court is now in session.
Case number 19-1465, the people of Berserksville versus Casey Lissett for the murders of Greta Feta, Bree College, and Pepper Jackson is now in session.
Is the prosecution ready?
Born ready, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready?
I guess, Your Honor.
Prosecution, your opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I want you to do is close your eyes with me and imagine. I want you to picture a murderer. Imagine a woman, maybe 5'7", 5'8", depending on the shoes she's wearing. She has brown, straight hair, freckles, and is wearing a white blouse. Now open your eyes. And doesn't that image look a lot like this woman right here?
Objection, Your Honor. She is clearly just describing my appearance.
Shh, order. Now, please, continue, Miss Scammerton.
Now I would like to be known as a fair lawyer, a just lawyer. I don't want to discriminate on the things that divide us as people. Things like gender. Gender is often used to discriminate in the workplace, but not by me. I want equality across the board. Anyways, I trust that you, the jury, will come to the conclusion and make the right verdict. After all, you seem like a very knowledgeable bunch. Quite intelligent. You may say, in fact, that you're a bunch of smarties. Why don't you have some courtesy of me, the prosecution? Here we go, just...
Objection, Your Honor. She is literally bribing the jury with candy. There's no way that...
Hold on a second. Can I have one?
Yeah, sure.
Then this is fine. Overruled.
This is insane. She is going to win just because you'll let her do whatever she wants.
Shh. Overruled. Now, continue, Miss Scammerton.
I'm inspired by great leaders. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. all outstanding people who have touched America. I like to think that I also impact America, one case at a time, by keeping sickos like Casey Lissett off the streets and behind bars. Does that make me a good person? A saint? The answer is yes, it does. But still, I remain humble. Humble is my middle name. Actually, it's Cecilia. That's besides the point. If they held Humble Awards, I would totally win. It would be a huge affair, but I just blow it off like it's no big deal because that's just the kind of person I am. Point is, I'm the good guy here. And they, Casey Lissett and Mr. Flops, they're the ones corrupting society. A vote for a guilty Casey is a vote for a safer world. Thank you. Try and beat that.
Defense, your opening statement?
So the reason that my client, Macy.
Casey.
Right. Casey. That Casey Lissett is guilty. No, not guilty. I meant not guilty. Can I start over?
No.
Okay. You've got this, Gregory. Despite what your mother says, you can be a winner. You will not be a disappointment. Not this time. Casey Lissett is not guilty. It's as simple as that. I mean, she was nowhere near any of the scenes of the crimes when they happened. I mean, I guess she was in town for the most recent murder. And I guess if you really think about it, she could have technically driven back for the other two. So...
No, what are you doing? You're supposed to be defending me, not helping the prosecution.
Yeah, I don't need your help. But if you want to run your case headfirst in the ground by yourself, you can totally do that too.
Look, I'm no Miss Scammerton, okay? I'm not as put together as Miss Scammerton, all right? I may not have talent or charm or a law degree.
Wait, what?
But there is something that I do have, and that is, the thing I have is, I know I wrote it down here somewhere, well, I do have something, and I'm not quite sure what it is right now, but it's a real competitive edge, I'll tell you that. Thank you.
Would the prosecution like to call the witness?
You would, Your Honor. The first witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Casey Lissett.
Wait, me? Can she call me up?
I'll allow it.
Come on, Casey, step right up.
Oh no, I know my rights. I do not have to testify against myself.
Party pooper.
What did you call me?
I believe the prosecution called you a party pooper.
I am not a party pooper just because I
Look out, guys. It seems we've got a real Debbie Downer on our hands.
am not.
Then you wouldn't mind answering a few questions. After all, if you're really as innocent as you say you are, you should have nothing to worry about. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You can stay in your seat there and answer questions if Judge Falter will allow it.
I'll allow it.
Fine.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Now, most murderers won't just fess up to their crimes.
I am not a...
But I'm an expert. I've spent years in law school, and I've been practicing for a good amount of time now. I know the ins and outs of a courtroom. And over the years, I've developed the skills, the necessary sophisticated tactics it takes to get through to a hardened criminal. Guilty person says what?
What?
That's all we need to hear, Your Honor. No further questions.
Would the defense care to cross-examine?
I don't know if I can come up with anything after that.
Yes, you can. Question me.
I don't have a paper for this.
Just ask me questions.
Okay, so what's your favorite color?
Questions about the murders, Mr. Flops.
Right, so why'd you do it?
I didn't. You're my defense lawyer. You should know that.
Right, sorry, so why didn't you do it?
Because I'm not even from here. I was just driving through town when I got stopped and arrested. There's no evidence that I'm the murderer, except I apparently drive the same type of truck as the murderer. But anyone can have a white pickup. I'm not even from here. I don't know who these people are. Why would I want to kill them? I have no motive.
Objection. I want that stricken from the record.
On what grounds?
Honestly, those are just really good points, and they do not help my case. So I want them stricken from the record.
Okay.
What?
Well, you've got to admire her honesty.
Have to.
Hey, don't argue with me or hold you in contempt of court. Now, continue, Mr. Falk.
So you had no motive to kill any of these people?
No, like I said, I have no reason. I have no reason. I have no reason to hurt anyone who. I'm sorry, Miss Scammerton. Am I boring you?
Oh, don't you mind me. I'm just patiently waiting for my turn to redirect.
So there's no possible way that. You know what? I think we're done here.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Well, I mean, I guess they're already done. Now, Miss Lissett, haven't you not, couldn't have, shouldn't have, could not even, to couldn't have not been the murderer?
I don't understand the question.
It's a simple yes or no question, Miss Lissett.
I don't want to accidentally admit to being a murderer.
You know who else is afraid of admitting to being a murderer?
Who?
A murderer.
Do you have any real questions for me?
Now, I'm a pretty reasonable gal.
I thought you were asking me questions.
I'm getting there. Now, I'm not to exaggerate or to blow things out of proportion, but this person has got to be the most atrocious, despicable person to ever walk the face of the earth ever. And I'm counting people who pour their milk into their bowl before their cereals. Yes, she's that bad.
I am not.
Now, how am I possibly try to reason with someone so off balance, so deranged? How could I question someone?
I'm not crazy or deranged.
Someone who...
I'm not.
Someone who doesn't know how to sit and listen and is interrupting me all the time. So no, I do not have any further questions for Miss Lissett. That's not because that when I was feeding the ducks in the park this morning, that I fed them as part of my notes.
I would even...
But that she is simply too unstable to answer anything truthfully. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Very well, then.
They're flat. Why didn't you redirect? They could have heard more of my side of the story.
What? I didn't have any questions written down either. But I didn't have as good of an excuse as Miss Scammerton had.
Does the prosecution want to call its next witness?
I would, Your Honor. The next witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Penny Fadson.
State your name for the court.
Penny Fadson.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please restate your name for the court.
Penny Fadson.
And what do you do for a living, Miss Fadson?
I'm a blogger.
And what do you blog about?
I blog about blogs and more blogs.
And what is your relationship to the victim Bree Cottage?
I knew Bree Cottage from blogging. When 3 days had gone by and she hadn't posted anything, I knew something was up.
And so what did you do?
I went to her favorite places. The Riverwalk because of the aesthetics. The coffee shop on the corner because it's hashtag delish. But I ended up finding her in the park.
And how was she when you found her?
She was totes dead.
How did she die?
It looked like she was strangled to death.
Strangled to death, you say? May the jury note that the defendant has 2 hands. Perfect for strangling.
That is ridiculous. Everyone has 2 hands.
May the jury also note the defendant is discriminatory against amputees and those born without arms. Now, how does that affect you, Miss Fadson?
The whole thing was just a hashtag tragic. Great for blogging, though. I got a lot of hits from that. Actually, can you hold still for a second? Murders are totally trending these days. Perfect. They'll love this on the internet.
Now, what I have here is some hardcore photo evidence from the scene of the crime. And I warn you, to those of you who are a bit squeamish, you may want to look away.
Photo proof? That's a crayon drawing.
All right, you've got me. This is actually a crayon drawing I did from the scene of the crime.
Really?
But it's so realistic.
What are you talking about? It's clearly.
A masterpiece? Yes, we know, Casey. But we have to focus on the case now. Now, does this picture accurately represent what you found at the scene of the crime?
It does.
It's pretty great, isn't it? I like what I did with the color and this little bit of shading here.
Thought we were focusing on the case, Miss Scammerton.
Fine. Now up next, I have a close-up of the neck. And I warn you, there is a little blood and gore. So once again, you may want to look away.
This might be too graphic for the courtroom.
I don't even know if I can even take this. It's too much like the actual thing. I can't even.
I think I might faint.
What are you talking about? It's just a squiggly line and some red scribbles.
What are you talking about? This is true art.
See? Thank you.
What side are you on, anyway? Come on, these things are labeled just so we know what they are. Otherwise, it would just be a squiggly line and some red scribbles. You guys cannot be buying this, can you? I mean,
The jury is a noble and sensible bunch. They're intelligent, strong-willed. Not to mention a great-looking group of people, if I do say so myself. They know the difference between what is right and wrong, between what is legitimate evidence and what is not. So when approached with pictures as such, of course they
seriously?
take it as a legitimate source. Wait, did you say they would take it seriously? How could they not?
How could they? I mean,
Well, if you weren't convinced before, this next picture will prove for sure that... Oh, well, this is a field of turkeys I drew the other day.
Lovely turkeys.
Very well drawn.
I wanted a series of drawings groups of animals, and I was going to call it Beasts Running Wild. I got started on this turkey one a few days ago, but with the court case and everything, I just haven't had time to do anything else. You know, I wanted to be an artist, but my dad said no. He insisted I become a lawyer. He always used to say artists have no future in this country. Always said that a lawyer will make much better money, he said. He always said I have to think practical. But what if I don't want to think practical? What if I want to follow my heart? So let's still have dreams, Daddy! No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
We would, Your Honor. Miss Fadson, did you see the person who strangled Bree Cottage?
No, I did not.
So you have no real way of knowing who killed her?
No, but I'm just getting this vibe that it was her.
Fair enough.
what? No, that is not fair enough. This is a court case. We need to go off cold, hard evidence, not vibes.
I'm getting the vibe that you woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, didn't you?
It's all in your aura. I can see it from here.
Let's look at the facts. You didn't see me, so you can't prove it was me.
Yeah, but it's in your aura.
And as we all know, you can't fake an aura.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
No, I'm good, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to call forward its next witness?
We would, Your Honor. The next witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Glenn Chatter.
State your name for the court.
Glenn Chatter.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please restate your name and occupation for the court.
Glenn Chatter, town gossip.
Wait, your occupation is town gossip?
I am the ears of this town. Nothing happens without me hearing about it.
So, what's the news?
You want to know the lowdown? The word on the street?
Yeah, what's the word?
Well, I know this guy who knows this guy who knows this guy's podiatrist, and here's what I heard. If you go to the lower eastern western side of town and into the back alley, the third back alley you see, not the one with a dog who knows how to play the harmonica, but the next one. Then go into the back of a building with no windows that vaguely reminds you of a low-budget horror movie. At the door will be a one-eyed, three-armed man named Ambiguous Pete, who will give you a very indifferent answer on whether you can enter or not. Enter anyways, and if old Pete comes after you, ask him about his childhood. That will send him running for the hills because confrontation is his biggest fear, right after snakes and losing a game of Monopoly. Once you're in the building, it'll give you this weird feeling, like when you see your teacher outside of school, when you find out one of your friends is distantly related to Henry VIII. Don't let this stop you, and you will see a woman with her fingers super glued together and bright blue eyebrows, but not above her eyes, sitting in the corner. Tell her the geese fly south in the winter, and it's time for them to come home. She will nod, and that's when you can get her Michael Jackson CDs.
What? This was about Michael Jackson CDs? This isn't even relevant to the case.
Michael Jackson is always relevant. He's the king of pop and one of history's greatest entertainers of all time.
So beat it. Just beat it.
Great, now we're singing.
Shh. Michael Jackson, 1958 to 2009. Rest in peace.
What is going on here?
Shh, have some respect.
You really do belong in prison if you don't have respect for the king of pop.
Can we please just get back to the case?
Oh, well, fine. We can get back to the case if you want to skip aside the important things in life. Now, what else do you know, Miss Chatter?
Well, I heard from my brother, who heard from his barber, who heard from his local bar mitzvah coordinator. And here's what I know. Far away from here, like 2 miles, there will be homeless Joe who sits under a bridge. He'll ask you a riddle. Try and answer correctly, but homeless Joe doesn't have much motivation in life and is a huge pushover, and he'll let you cross anyways. So then you go over the river and through the woods until you see a blue chicken, and then you gotta...
What do you know about the murders?
I was getting there.
Were you really?
No.
There were 3 murders, Miss Chatter. Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, Greta Feta. What do you know about these 3 murders?
Murders? Oh, yes. I know lots about murders. This guy dies in the stampede, right? Looks like it's an accident. His son thinks it's all his fault, but really it was the dad's brother's fault. He framed the whole thing so that he could have the family's power. So then the son runs off and becomes friends with a meerkat and a warthog. And then...
It's describing the plot to The Lion King?
Okay, but there's this other family, right? A mom, a dad, and a whole bunch of kids. And one day, a mom and a bunch of the kids die, leaving the father with only one kid who has a physical disability. Because of the past, the father is overprotective of his son. But one day the son gets lost, causing him to go on a wild journey to find him, joining a woman with short-term memory problems. And then...
Finding Nemo.
Okay, but there's this pig, right? He gets sent to a farm because his owner can't take care of him anymore. And then there's this spider that's helping him, writing in her web. And then...
Got to Charlotte's Web. No one's even murdered in that movie. Charlotte just dies.
Spoiler alert! Now, Miss Chatter, doesn't seem you actually know anything that is vital to this case.
Well, I just, sometimes no.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense care to cross-examine?
We would, Your Honor. So, how does Finding Nemo end?
What?
What? I've never seen the movie, and I'm curious.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect? Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The next witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Clarissa Vender.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the court.
Clarissa Vender.
And what do you do for a living, Miss Vender?
I own a business. Don't have a cow? Cow removal services.
Cow removal service?
That's right. You have the calf, we have the moving staff. Don't have a cow? That's 1-800-555-6433.
And what is your relationship to any of the victims of murders?
Well, Pepper Jackson was my neighbor from across the hall in our apartment building, and also a supporter of my business. Don't have a cow? You've got the cow? Let us take it now. That's 1-800-555-6433.
And what do you know about the murder?
Well, I was in my apartment thinking about my business. Don't have a cow? You've got the steer? Let us take it from here. That's 1-800-555-6433. I also have some cards. Don't have a cow? Cow removal.
Miss Vender, please, just tell us about the night of the murder.
Well, I was in my apartment and I heard someone walking down the hall.
I thought it was someone coming to talk to me about my business. Son of a cow, you got beef? We have the movers you need. That's 1-800.
Miss Vendor, no advertising of businesses will be tolerated from now on.
Then what's the point of being a witness?
I'll put that one behind bars.
I am not a.
Now, Miss Vendor, tell us about what you know of the night of the murder.
So I was across the hall.
Was your door open?
Yes, both were open, but I hadn't seen her in a while.
Did you hear anything?
Not really. I crossed over to her apartment and saw her sitting in a chair. I shook her a few times, thinking she was unconscious, until I saw the stab wounds.
Okay. So to recap what you just said. So you were both in your apartments, but both your doors were open. You hadn't crossed paths that day, and you couldn't hear anything. So immediately after the murder, you crossed over to her apartment. There you found her sitting in a chair, so you shook her body, and then bam, you saw the stab wounds.
No. That is not what happened. This is how it went down. So we were both in our apartments, and yes, both the doors were open. But I'd seen Pepper Jackson earlier that day, just not close to the murder. Now I heard something. I heard a scream, which is why I went over to her apartment. There, I found her sitting in a chair. I shook the body, and that's when I saw the stab wounds.
Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute. So
Look, it's very simple. So we were both in our apartments, and both our doors were open.
And your paths had crossed that day, but not close to the time of the murder.
That's right, and I heard something. I heard a scream, which is why I went over to her apartment. There, I found her sitting in a chair,
And so you shook her.
and bam, that's when I saw the stab wounds.
How is this report even real?
I think we all understand very clearly now what happened. Thank you, Miss Vendor. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
Yes, we would.
we would, Your Honor. So you're a witness to the murder of Pepper Jackson.
Correct.
Now, did you actually see the murderer?
No, I did not.
So you have no real way of knowing if Casey is the murderer?
I suppose not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
We would. Now, Miss Vendor, you didn't see the murderer, which means it could be anyone in the world, correct?
That would be so.
And so, due to the wide possibilities, you cannot rule out Casey listed as a possible suspect, correct?
That would make sense.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense want to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You're excused.
This is insane. None of these witnesses are legitimate. They either didn't see the crime or are just completely unqualified. None of these witnesses should be taken seriously.
Would the prosecution like to call any more witnesses?
They would, Your Honor. The next witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Professor Puffle.
A professor, huh? That does sound rather professional. I trust the... Wait, why is Professor Puffle holding a guinea pig?
That guinea pig is Professor Puffle.
What?
Professor Puffle was there in the room the night of Pepper Jackson. She saw the whole thing. Who else would be a better witness?
Oh, I don't know. A human being?
Oh, would you hush up? It's my turn to question.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Now, Professor Puffle, you are a witness to the murder of Pepper Jackson, correct?
It's not going to answer you.
Give her some time. This was her owner, her very best friend. She witnessed being killed right in front of her. This is an incredibly emotional time for her. Give her some space.
You can't honestly expect it to talk, can you? It's just a guinea pig. It doesn't matter.
May I? Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what I want you to do is to look hard at this poor orphan creature. She no longer has a place to call home. Her owner, no, her mother, tragically killed, and her poor little eyes witnessed the whole thing. Now, who could kill someone is one question, but who? Who could murder someone for such a sweet and innocent animal? We've all seen Casey Lissett's intolerance for this beautiful, adorable creature. How she has no regard for her feelings. Doesn't matter, she says. Just like how it wouldn't matter if she's murdering her owner right in front of her. I'm not sure how she sleeps at night knowing this little being will live with permanent trauma. No further questions, Your Honor.
The defense like to cross-examine.
I mean, I guess, so it wasn't really that traumatizing to watch Casey murder your owner, was it?
Oh, I didn't kill anyone.
Right, sorry, so guinea pigs don't have that great of eyesight, correct? Is it possible that you saw someone else? Should I take that as a yes?
You should definitely take that as a no.
Oh, okay.
No, you shouldn't just let her.
I guess I have no more questions then.
Will the prosecution like to redirect?
Just one question. Professor Puffle, I know we've had our difficulties in communicating here today.
I would say.
I just want to ask you a question in the simplest form that I can. Twitch your nose if Casey Lissett is the murderer. Aha! Did you see that? A witness identification. A solid case. We might as well lock her up right now.
How could you possibly think that?
Order in the court. Now, would the defense like to redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You're excused.
I think this is time for a music break.
Music break?
That's right. This was a classic. There was a girl who was guilty and Casey was her name. Casey, Casey, and Casey was her name. Oh, come on, everyone. You know the words. Join in. There was a girl who was guilty and Casey was her name. Oh,
Casey, Casey, and Casey was her name. Oh,
What are you doing? You're supposed to be on my side.
it's just so catchy.
That's it. You're fired.
Fired.
That's right. I don't need someone who can't remember what side they're on.
Well then, good luck against her then, because you're gonna need it.
so you fired your lawyer. That's a pretty bold move.
Well, he wasn't any help.
Tell you what, since I'm in such a good mood today, and since you are so far behind, I'll give you a few pointers.
Really?
Yes. Now, these are the three most important rules when it comes to law. Rule 1, they can never see you cry. Rule 2, show no mercy. Rule 3 is have fun and be yourself.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The next witnesses that the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Albert and Arminta Contrary.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Please state your names for the court.
Well, I'm Arminta Contrary, and this is my twin brother, Albert Contrary.
And you two are witnesses to the murder of Greta Feta, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell us what happened.
Well, we were driving down Main Street, me and my brother here, listening to the radio and jamming out, when suddenly I see something on the side of the road. At first I think it's just an animal, some roadkill. But then I look closer, and I see a jacket. And I'm like, who threw a bundle of clothes on the side of the road, right? But then I saw hair, and I was like, hold on, I've got to see this. So Albert and I got out of the car, and it's a dead body. How freaky is that? Am I right?
Albert, is this what happened?
No,
Would you care to tell us what did happen then?
not that.
Yes, it did. Remember, we saw the body. We were both like super shocked. We were like, OMG, like a real dead body just right here on the side of the road. And then we called the police.
No, we didn't.
Yes, this is what happened. We were driving along. we saw the body on the side of the road, and then we called the police.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Did not.
Did too.
Did not.
Did too.
Are you two going to agree on one final story?
Yes.
No.
Having both of you witness at the same time isn't going to be a problem, is it?
No.
Yes.
I'm going to get straight to the point. Did you see anything to lead you to believe that Casey Lissett was the murderer?
I mean, it looked like the body was shot.
Do you own a gun?
You can't ask me anything. I'm not on the witness stand.
May the jury note the defendant refuses to confirm nor deny owning a gun. But if you ask me, it seems like she's hiding something. No further questions, Your Honor.
That's your whole questioning? The fact that I may or may not, which I don't, by the way, own a gun? How could you even?
Would the defense like to cross?
This is ludicrous. How does this even?
That's it. You've lost your chances to cross-examine. Order in the court.
That's the problem. There is no order in this court. You could do anything. There is no order in this court. I could do anything.
You're excused. Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The next witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Archie Maniacal.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name for the court.
Archie Maniacal, former soldier of the Battle of Maple Hill.
And what is your relationship to any one of the victims?
Greta Feta was best friends with my granddaughter. I've seen her a lot. But from the battles, I've seen a lot more. You want to hear everything I've seen in the battles?
Not really.
It was a cold night in the bunkers. Me and my fellow soldiers were huddled around the fire, trying to keep warm. Our fingers, our toes, all started freezing off. Now let me tell you, it got a lot harder to count till 10 after that. Food was rationed, the snow was building 2-3 feet high. We wanted to go home, but we couldn't let them win. You want to know who the enemy was?
No, but I bet you're going to tell me anyway.
It was those Canadians. Well, not really the Canadians, but what belonged to them.
And what belonged to them?
It was that Canadian bacon. It's an outrage. Canadian bacon isn't really bacon. It's just ham. We couldn't let them keep getting away with these lies any longer. The general said to attack, but we weren't ready. Although I don't think we'd ever be ready for what came next.
And you're going to tell us what came next.
The Canadians were everywhere, riding on their moose, swinging their hockey sticks. Good day to you, eh? They were so polite, but we knew they meant business. Moose to the left and moose to the right. They were everywhere. We were cornered, completely out of options. That was even the worst part.
Please don't tell us the worst part.
The worst part was the maple syrup cannons. The sugary, sticky goodness hitting right in the heart. Technically, there was no physical damage, but the mental damage weighs me down constantly. To this day, I still can't look at... Still can't look at pancakes and waffles because they're all dry because I have no syrup. Because I can't bear the look and the sweet taste of that.
Well, this has been a great story. Why don't we just...
I failed them. I let them all down. My platoon. But also this name and the dignity of bacon. Forgive me, bacon!
You know what? Forget it. No further questions, Your Honor. He's not worth it.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
Oh, we would, Your Honor. Mr. Maniacal, you've seen a lot of things in your life.
However, I can still hear the battle cries of my platoon. It's just him! It's just him!
So, you would be able to judge someone's character fairly well, would you not?
Yeah, I've been around, and I've seen the good from the bad, seen the good from the Canadians.
Do I seem like a murderer to you?
No, you're not Canadian. You seem like a perfectly lovely girl. Want to hurt a fly? I'll trust you in my platoon.
You've heard it here, folks. This honorable vet says I'm a perfectly lovely girl. Wouldn't hurt a fly. No further questions, Your Honor.
Hey, you can't do that. There's no evidence. You can't make claims off of loosely based statements.
You've been doing that this whole time.
Yeah, but that's my thing. You can't do it too.
I'm playing by new rules now.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do, Your Honor. The next witness the prosecution would like to call to the stand is Helen Hushed.
State your name for the court.
Helen Hush?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
No, you're a witness to the murder of Greta Feta, correct? Please tell us your account of what happened that night. I'm sorry, what was that? I can't hear you. I'm going to need you to speak up just a little. Well, now you've just gone and stopped talking altogether. I'm going to need you to speak loudly and clearly. Loudly and clearly, miss. I need you to speak up. Nope. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. Now, unlike the prosecution here, I have very good hearing and am able to hear what this witness is saying. I will articulate it for you. Now, Miss Hutt, please tell us again what happened that night. I see. You're saying I'm not the murderer.
That's not what she's saying.
That I was nowhere near the scene of the crime.
You're making this all up.
That I am completely and totally innocent.
Well, I don't know about that.
Ha! You hear that? She says she doesn't know whether you're innocent or not.
Not the way I heard it.
She literally just said she does not know whether you are completely innocent or not. Please, Miss Hust, say it again. Oh, well, sure. Now she's quiet again.
And now we'll never know. No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
Well, if she's going to testify like that, I guess not.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
Just one more, Your Honor. The prosecution would like to call Bobby Young to the stand.
State your name for the court.
Bobby Young.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Whoa. This is a child. When I got my witness list, I didn't know I'd be speaking to a child. I don't know how to talk to kids these days. I don't know what's cool, what's hip. What are kids into? Puppies, video games, the 1793 beheading of Marie Antoinette? Aha, I know. Well, hi there, Bobby. My name's Bago, your favorite puppet friend. Today we're going to talk murder. Yay!
A puppet?
That's right. Bago, your favorite puppet pal. Have you seen a murder?
How old do you think I am?
I don't know. 7, 13, 22. So, honestly, anything under 30 is the same to me.
Well, I'm a little too old for puppets.
So what is it that you kids like these days? Sports? Toys? Sustainable farming? Ah, juggling. Everyone loves some good old-fashioned juggling, am I right?
You could just ask questions.
I'm master juggler. They used to call me Juggles McGee back in high school. Juggling was my second passion right after art. I was going to juggle on the side while being an artist, but we all know how that went, now don't we?
Not really.
Anyways, here I am, Juggles McGee, back at it again. Seems a bit rusty, but so very entertaining, was it not?
Not really.
There's just no getting through the youth today. You corrupt generation! No further questions, Your Honor. I'm just done with him.
Would the defense like to cross-examine?
I would, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Young, what do you remember about the night of the murder of Greta Feta?
Not a lot.
Maybe this? Who refresh your memory?
Hey, that's my candy. You can't take that.
Let the jury note that the prosecution is against sharing. Not sharing with others is a quality a liar would have. Someone who would lie about someone else being a murderer. Now, what do you remember, Mr. Young?
Well, I saw the person who shot her, but I really couldn't make out who it was. But for another piece of candy, I could definitely confirm it wasn't you.
Got it.
Hey,
Yeah, now I can totally verify that it was not you who shot Greta Feta.
See? Totally verifying that I did not shoot Greta Feta. Who needs more proof than that? No further questions, Your Honor.
Would the prosecution like to redirect?
why didn't you just say you were motivated by candy?
I guess she just knew what kids are into these days.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Does the prosecution have any more witnesses?
We do not, Your Honor. The prosecution rests.
Does the defense have any witnesses they'd like to call to the stand?
Witnesses? I have to have witnesses somewhere. I have to.
You have no witnesses? Ha! You have nothing. There's no way you'll win this now.
Face it, you're through. Might as well get ready to go home now.
Wait, what is that on your coat?
It's definitely not the blood from the brutal murders of Greta Feta, Bree Cottage, and Pepper Jackson, that's for sure.
Oh, well, as long as it's not blood from that, we're all good to go.
The defense calls the bailiff to the stand.
Me? I don't know anything. Like, I have no idea why someone stabbed Pepper Jackson with a knife 7 times at 6:48 p.m. on the 23rd.
We never said how many times she was stabbed or at what time.
I guess I'm just a really good guesser.
Casey, this man is clearly just someone with a blood-stained coat who happens to be a good guesser of murder details. There's nothing suspicious about him.
I want to question him.
I guess you better swear yourself in.
Fine. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Now, please state your name for the court.
Joseph Slayer.
And your occupation is bailiff?
Yes, but I also own a restaurant, Sloppy Joe's.
Okay, Mr. Slayer, what type of vehicle do you drive?
A white pickup truck.
Same as me, and same as the murderer. Okay, so do you know any of the victims of these murders?
Not personally, no.
Then why did you kill them?
I didn't. I have no idea why someone used a shoelace to string a Bree Cottage to death. And I definitely don't know who drove a body to Widow Creek Park on the corner of 4th and Elm.
For someone who's not a murderer, Mr. Slayer, you do know a lot about these murders.
I don't know, I guess. Give it up. Without a confession, Scamperton basically has this case in the palm of her hands.
It's true. Even though he started to come back at the end, I've still got this case in the bag.
There has to be something here, anything.
Give it up, Casey. You've lost.
Not so fast, Mr. Slayer. How has your restaurant been doing?
Okay, I guess. I admit, it's seen better days. Why?
Do you know the occupation of these 3 victims? Bree Cottage, food blogger. Pepper Jackson, food critic. Greta Feta, health inspector. Sure, you may not have known these people personally, but you knew them professionally, and they were all in positions to affect your business.
Yeah, man, my restaurant wasn't the cleanest, most sanitary. But I mean, we still had good food.
Oh, so then you wouldn't mind if we all tried a sample of your food?
What?
Yeah, if Bree Cottage, Pepper Jackson, and Greta Feta were all wrong about your restaurant, you'd be okay with us trying your food.
I can't.
Why not? Why can't we try some?
You don't know what you're asking.
Where's the food, Slayer? Give us the food.
You want the food? You can't handle the food.
Why can't we try your food? What's wrong with it?
Everything. It's awful. That's why I had to kill them. It was one bad review after another. Bree slammed me on her food blog. Pepper saying her food was tasteless in local paper. And Greta wanted to close down just because of rats, mold, flies, and the fact that nothing was ever cleaned. I had to protect my restaurant. I put so much of my heart and soul into that thing. We were falling so far behind on rent that I had to get the job as bailiff just to cover costs. I couldn't watch Sloppy Joes go down. I couldn't see my dreams die.
That's a very touching story. But you did commit a triple homicide, so
Joseph Slayer, I hereby sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Court is adjourned.
Wait, so does that mean I'm free?
I'm free! I'm free!
wait, so that means I lost? That can't be right. I never lose. I can't lose. Especially not someone without a lawyer. This is the second biggest disappointment of my life. Right after Daddy not letting me go to art school.
Why don't you just go to art school?
What?
Yeah, you're a grown woman. You can make your own decisions. Those drawings you showed us were great.
Yeah, they were great. You know what? I am going to go to art school. This time, nobody can stop me. Not even you, Daddy. All right, I'll have to go buy myself a new box of crayons.
Well, jury, that was a crazy ride. Just on my way from New York to Miami, and suddenly all this happens. There were a lot of objections and not a whole lot of order in this court, but it all worked out in the end. Ooh, all this court stuff's made me famished. You guys know of any good local food places to visit? I just know of one place where I'm not going to eat.